This is Lisa, and you're watching The Backward Glance. Today I wanted to do another little update about my sales on the RealReal. And more important than my sales, I think, is like showing you what they've been accepting and what they haven't been accepting, and of course, what kind of commissions I'm getting from the things that they do accept. So if you saw my last video, I did just a little overview of what the RealReal is. If you're not aware of it, it is a high-end designer consignment website. So they accept items from an exclusive list of designers, and then they sell those items and you get a commission, which varies based on the actual resale price of the item. But most of the items that I send in are in sort of the lower bracket, so I'm generally making 40% of what they end up selling the item for. So in my first video, I covered my first two shipments to the RealReal and told you a little bit about what they accepted, didn't accept, and what sold. So since then, I have sent two more shipments, and so that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. So I'm here on my page that shows my activity, and I'm going to go down a little bit here, and I think this is where I left off. So the next shipment that I sent to them, which was a few months ago now, was 6 items, and they only accepted 3. And one of the things that I mentioned in my last video was that I've seen other people doing reviews of the RealReal where they mentioned that they were sending in some brands that were not on the designer list, but the RealReal was sometimes accepting them, and these are brands that are for sale on their site if you look them up. So I decided to try that out, and I threw 3 items in my box that are brands that they're currently selling that are not on their designer list, and they didn't take any of them. So uh, in the next shipment I'll show you, I included just one item that wasn't on their designer list, and they did accept it. So I'm not going to say that they never do, but I think that it has to be like a really special item. So the 3 things that they shipped back to me were a skirt from the brand One by O Second. And it wasn't like a super high quality looking skirt, but I did see that they were selling that brand, and so I decided to send that in. Next was this Marcus Lupfer polo shirt, and this was a men's shirt. I believe that Marcus Lupfer is on their designer list, but only for women's. And they did actually have this exact same shirt that I sent them that had actually sold fairly recently. So I thought that they might accept it, but they sent it back, and it was in like brand new condition. I had this shirt listed on eBay for like 8 months. It gets like no views or watchers. It's back up there right now. It's actually a pretty cool polo shirt, but I think this brand mostly makes women's things. Maybe they just like tried men's for a blip of time and there's not really a following on that. I don't know. So, I might have this shirt for another few years before I sell it, if I ever sell it. It just doesn't seem to be sought after. The women's stuff can be very expensive. And the third thing that they shipped back to me was a little black clutch purse, leather, by the brand Walter, or actually it was Walter Baker. And I saw that they were selling some items by Walter Baker. This clutch purse was in almost brand new condition. I actually got it out of the bins, so I probably paid a maximum of about $1 for it. Listed it on eBay for a while with no attention, and it's back up there now. So the items that they did accept were this Alice and Olivia pair of jeans, and these are like a metallic coated jean. There we go. I saw that they had the same pair in a few different sizes listed, so I don't know. It looks like these have already been marked down. So they listed them at 50 and now they're down to 37.50 and they haven't sold yet. My commission will be very low on those, especially now that they're marked down. Next is this Lafayette 148 skirt, and is like a sequin skirt. So one of the things that I'm not sure why it didn't occur to me before, I think I was just excited to find these high-end brands and get them shipped off. And what I'm doing now is I'm trying to wait for the appropriate season. So I have a number of things that I could send. And in the future, I am only going to send things that are appropriate to the season. So, for example, this skirt probably is more likely to sell around New Year's, and these jeans probably the same, or at least not until the fall. So, they don't list things seasonally, they just list it when you send it, and then they start marking it down when it sits. So if you can hold off, I would definitely recommend it. Another item that I showed in my last video is this Lafayette 148 jacket, and this is in a plus size, really nice like tweed jacket, and this actually sold and got returned, and now it has been sitting for so long that it is down to $75. And if I had sent this in the fall, I mean, it's the perfect fall color scheme, so I have a feeling that I could have had it sell for close to full price in the fall, so live and learn, but I'm definitely not going to be sending in out of season items in the future. So, um, the let's see, okay, so I had 6 items in that, and the other one got separated for some reason, and this was the 6th item in that lot, and this sold fairly quickly. These Tory Burch shoes. These I did have listed on eBay for a while, and I didn't get any interest in them. Uh, People really like the large logo Tory Burch, and I have no problem selling that on eBay, but these ones just were not getting interest, so I did go ahead and send them away to the RealReal. Um, they sold them for $48. The listing price was 20% more than that. The buyer used a coupon code, which almost always happens, like 99% of the time, I would say. People get 20% off. So sold for 48. My commission was 40% of that, so I got 19.20. I actually paid, I believe, $10 for these shoes, so very low profit in them. I would still pick these up if I could get them cheap, but I'm really kind of holding out for the larger logo stuff with Tory Burch. So that was the next shipment. So that was my 3rd shipment. And then in the middle of June, I sent in another box that had 10 items, and 9 out of the 10 were on their designer list, and 1 out of the 10 wasn't, so I'll show you that. Of this box, they accepted 8 items and sent back 2. So I'll just cover the 2 they sent back really quickly. This pair of Stuart Weitzman shoes, they were like a strappy high heel. It said that they had excessive wear. I didn't really think that they did, but they showed a little bit of wear. So this is a pair of shoes that I've had on eBay for like 9 months, and I'm probably just gonna throw them back on eBay, or maybe I'll even redonate them. They just never really got any interest. And the other thing is this ALC jacket. Now, this is a jacket that I purchased for $5, and somebody had cut the tag out of the back, so you can see reason, no brand tag. The inner tag that was on the side actually did say ALC, and I was able to look up the jacket. It retailed for close to $1,000, I think like $995 or something. Really beautiful lambskin jacket with a silk lining, and I actually wore it a few times and I really liked it. But I felt like to fit me better it would need a button on it. It was like an open front jacket. So I was kind of crossing my fingers that they didn't take it, because the money would have been nice. I think if they had accepted it, they would have listed it for probably over $200. But since they sent it back, I'm actually going to take it and have it altered to have a button on it, and I'm going to enjoy wearing it. So I wasn't too disappointed about that. So getting into the 8 things that they did take, the first one was this Kate Spade bag, and This was called the Irving Place Little Nadine Satchel. I actually did pay up for this a little bit. I think I paid around 15 for it, and I just wanted to be certain that it was real. I don't have really a ton of experience with selling Kate Spade, had some little markings and stuff on it. I'm not sure what that is tied around the handle there. The one thing that I was a little bit bothered by in the listing here is that it has a shoulder strap to make it a crossbody. I mean, I guess they show it here if that's the same bag, but in these, it actually looks like they photoshopped that onto there. That's kind of cheesy. In these, it kind of doesn't really show you that it has the shoulder strap with it, so I feel like they could have done a better job displaying this particular item. Anyway, they have this listed for $95. It has been live for about 8 or 9 days now. That was the first thing they listed from this batch, and it was kind of sporadic, like every day 1 or 2 more would be listed. This is the most recent thing, and it has only been live for maybe 2 or 3 days now. This is just a pair of Lafayette 148 trousers in a cropped style. They did have this style named Manhattan on them, and they listed these at 50%, and you can see right here 20% off, use code REAL. So nobody ever pays full price. I did have it happen once, but they're always running some 20% promotion. I only paid $3 or $4 for these pants, so even though my commission is likely going to be probably less than $20, there's still just a little bit of profit in there for me. Next is this top by Vineet Ball, and this was a brand I hadn't heard of. This is actually a top that was sold at Anthropologie, so this designer doesn't always sell at Anthropologie, but sometimes they do, so it's like one of the higher end. And when I looked this up, originally I saw that this same top had sold a couple times. So they listed this for $70. Someone is going to get that 20% off. My commission on this will probably end up being like $25 to $30, and I believe I have $4.25 into it. And they accepted these Cassaday shoes. I had never heard of this brand before, but obviously a high quality shoe. I actually got this at a thrift store I don't usually go to, but it was on their clearance, and so I think I only paid about $3 for these or something like that. They listed them at $60, so again, I probably stand to make about $20 if these sell. This is a brand that there were quite a few listed on eBay for fairly high prices, but the sell-through rate was absolutely terrible, so I didn't even feel like trying to sell them on eBay. Another Lafayette 148 piece. This is a piece that, again, my new strategy of sending in things that are seasonal, I probably would have held on to this and waited. So they listed this at $60. Again, you know, I'm looking at that $20 profit range. I believe that I paid $4 to $5 plus tax for that. I didn't go through and write this stuff down, but this was the first item to sell from this lot, and it's this Acris Punto jacket. This is an item that I probably would try selling on eBay if I find this brand again. I had never found it, and I wanted to be absolutely sure that it was real. It was a really high quality jacket, so I don't think that I will really question myself next time. They did sell this. They listed it at $115, and you can see that the buyer, of course, used 20% discount, and that means it sold for $92. I got 40% of that. My commission was $36.80. I probably could have gotten 75 or $80 selling this on my own on eBay. It might not have sold super quickly, but I think I will try that next time if I ever am lucky enough to come across that brand again. The next item I'm really happy about because I had these forever listed on eBay. They would occasionally get a watcher. I think I sent out offers to watchers and just nobody bought them. And nice summer item though. So these Stuart Weitzman espadrille wedges, they listed for $95. They sold on the 7th. They, of course, sold for 20% off, so 76. My commission is 30-40. In the end on eBay, I had these listed in like the $22 or $24 range, so I'm really happy with that. And these could absolutely still get returned to the RealReal, so it's not guaranteed that that is going to, that money is going to hit my account anytime soon. So yeah, so we went over the Tory Burch because that was with the other shipment. And then so the last item, and this is the one that was not on their designer list, was this Vince skirt. And it was lamb leather, I believe. This is another item that I probably would try and sell on eBay if I find it again. To be honest, when I picked this skirt up, it said that it was 100% leather. The leather was so thin that I second guessed whether it was real. And I wouldn't think that Vince is a brand that would be faked, but I decided since I had just a little bit of misgivings about it that I would send it in. Now, Vince is not on their designer list, but I saw that they had this exact same skirt for sale in different sizes, so I thought I would go ahead and try it. They listed this for $115, so it actually was tied with the most expensive listing of the things that I sent, tied with that Acris Punto jacket, and it sold right away. I think it was listed for maybe 3 or 4 days. The buyer used 20%, so they bought it for $92. My commission on that was $36.80, and I know that I paid $3.99 plus tax for this, so that is a nice return on my investment there. So that's just my little update for you. I am hoping to maybe send in a box to the RealReal once every month would be great, but maybe once every 2 months is more realistic. I have just a few things to send them right now that I think are summer appropriate, but it'll be a pretty small box, so I will try and keep updates coming periodically on how things are doing on here, and I really want to try it for like a solid year and just see if I think that it adds a lot to my business to have this option for flipping designer stuff. Like I said, there's just a couple things like these Stuart Weitzman wedges that, I mean, I could have sat probably for a couple years on these. Just that's, the lack of interest that I was getting on eBay, and that's why some of these designer brands, they're hard to leave behind at the thrift store because you know that they're really valuable, but they just sit and take up room in your inventory. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope that this was kind of helpful if you're thinking about selling on the RealReal, especially as a reseller. I have no experience with buying these kind of brands on my own and flipping them, but as a reseller, I do find it to be a valuable resource. So let me know if you like this video. Go ahead and hit that like, thumbs up, thumbs down. And I generally make content about reselling on eBay and in the form usually of what sold videos. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and check my channel out. Thanks a lot. Bye.